Today on The Process, we're talking mindsets a creator needs to keep pushing forward. Welcome everyone to the channel. I'm Stephen Ray, and today I want to talk about some of the mental roadblocks that get in the way of creating and some ideas on how to get past them. We're going to talk about self-doubt, perfectionism, comparing yourself to others, and resistance. To start with self-doubt, we want to understand its purpose. Self-doubt is a defense mechanism to protect us from humiliation. It's simply the fear of making a mistake. In any given situation or endeavor, we deal with varying amounts of self-doubt. Think about the last time you drove, rode a bike, or used a piece of software. Nothing too special, right? Now compare that to the first time you were learning to do those things.
Slow down. You can't go through that gate, Mike. Stop! Stop!
I'm sure you can remember at least a little bit of self-doubt. If you've learned to do any of those things, congratulations. You've beat self-doubt. We forget these little victories over time and can forget what it feels like to beat self-doubt. Self-doubt is fear. And to beat it, we have to question it and break it down. When we do anything new, it's natural to have doubts. When doing something new, remind yourself it's going to take some time. As much as we all would love to be immediately amazing at everything we do, learning anything is going to take some time and practice. Learning about and practicing the thing causing us self-doubt is the only way to start gaining self-confidence. Developing self-confidence comes from facing self-doubt head-on. The more you do it, the more you learn to trust your ideas, abilities, and yourself in general. Gaining self-confidence in anything can only come from facing our fears, and learning to accept setbacks is simply part of the process.
This is the way.
Lastly, pay attention to the people you spend the most time with. Are they helping you to gain self-confidence or contributing to your self-doubts? Let's move on to perfectionism. If there's anything that affects me the most, it's this one. Perfectionism mostly comes from a fear of failure and rejection, of not measuring up to the expectations of others and ourselves. Perfectionism can even stop us before we even begin. It can cause us to focus on all the things we need. It traps us in trying to make everything perfect before we begin.
I can't write with all these eraser shavings all over my paper. Ugh. Now they're floating around my thinking space. I swallowed one.
Now this can be hard to recognize because getting prepared to do the things we need to do can feel very productive. This can lead to an obsession in trying to make your circumstances perfect before you can start. It's very easy to fall into this trap. Being productive only happens when we do the thing we need to do. This seems obvious. We can even say out loud that of course nothing is ever going to be perfect, but internally we let ourselves off the hook. We say things like, I'll start as soon as I get some new gear. Guilty. Or, I can't start until I think about the idea a little bit more. We have to be able to see where the truth to these things end and the fear begins. Do what you can with what you have and learn. That's what's important. Now let's jump into comparisons. First off, comparing ourselves to others is natural. It's a behavior that evolved to help us coexist. It's a tool that can help us learn from others and reach our potential. Used in the right ways, it can help to motivate and inspire us. Used in the wrong ways, it can make us complacent. These are known as upper and lower social comparisons. Upper being comparing ourselves to people we feel are better off than us, and lower being comparing ourselves to people we think we're better off than. And as you could already imagine, social media has supercharged this. To take back control, we need to understand that both of these comparisons can be toxic to us. First off, truly understand that nobody is perfect. Social media is a highlight reel. It doesn't mean you can't admire and be inspired by people. It's that you need to watch out for idolizing people, generalizing the person as a whole and wishing to be like them. This type of thinking often gets us down on ourselves. We start thinking we'll never be as good as them. Instead of wishing we had the things or talents of other people, identify the traits you admire and work to develop them in yourself. Things like work ethic, determination, self-confidence, humbleness, things that can help us be the best version of ourselves. The only thing to strive for is to be as authentically yourself as possible. The people we look up to are successful for being themselves. We can't replicate someone's personality and expect the same success and fulfillment. Every single one of us are on our own paths. We can take insight, wisdom, and tips from other people's pasts and experiences. We may even have similar obstacles and achievements, but no two paths will be exactly the same. This is why the only person to truly compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. Strive to develop the traits that will help you on your path. Lastly, work on developing a sense of gratitude and appreciation for what you have when comparing yourself to someone with less, instead of looking for a sense of superiority. And now, finally, resistance. In The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, resistance is the concept of a universal force that acts against human creativity. Its sole purpose is to stop us from doing the work we need to do. Everything we've talked about so far can be seen as tactics used by resistance. Resistance is a very persuasive voice that knows exactly what we need to hear to not take action. It's all about getting us to give ourselves permission to not do the work. When we say we're going to do something, we can't let resistance talk us out of it. Every thought that crosses your mind to not do or put off doing the thing that you need to do is resistance. Things like, I'm a bit tired today. And I've been doing pretty good. I could skip today. Or, I don't have to do it today. I could do it tomorrow. I'll just do it tomorrow. Resistance is difficult to beat because we've never really learned to watch out for it. Resistance wins every time we make excuses and don't hold ourselves accountable. Even now, resistance has slowly crept back up onto my shoulder. Take another day off. You did. In 1 month, I was able to make 3 episodes for this channel, with the last one being a little bit harder and more time consuming than I thought it was going to be. So I let myself take a small break. My plan was to finish a few videos before uploading again so I could maintain a schedule, as well as have a bit of breathing room for videos that were going to take longer or if there was an emergency. Now that voice was trying to tell me I could spare a week or 2 for nothing. After a week passed without working on anything, I had to take a step back and evaluate myself. As soon as I saw what was happening, I had to force myself out of it and immediately start working again, which honestly is what inspired this video. Resistance will tell you anything you need to hear to get you to stop. The only way to beat it is to do your work. Do the thing resistance is trying to convince you that you don't need to do. Do what you say you're gonna do and hold yourself accountable. Nobody else is going to because they're busy fighting their battles. The next time you're thinking about breaking a promise to yourself, try looking in the mirror and saying out loud all the reasons to yourself. It might be enough to call out and beat your resistance. And that's where I'll end this episode. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing. Links in the description if you'd like to follow me on the socials, and I hope to see you in the next video.